When it comes to teaching business English, probably one of the most tricky things to deal with is reading. I think when you're teaching reading, you need to think about why you're teaching reading. Are you teaching reading primarily as a vehicle for vocabulary, or are you teaching reading to improve reading skills? Personally, most of my students, they never need to read in English apart from emails. So if we're looking at a text, we're primarily talking about using it to improve their vocabulary. So some things that you need to think about are grading the text. Is it too difficult? Is it too easy? In my opinion, I think it's always better to give learners something that's too difficult rather than too easy. There's nothing worse than presenting new vocabulary, knowing and then finding out that the entire group knows all of the words. One thing I would say when teaching reading is you need to think about the texts that you use. Many teachers take an article from the business pages of a newspaper and think because it's business then it must be appropriate to my students. But why are they reading in their jobs? What do they actually need to read? It's very important that students have the opportunity to practice the things that they really need. And to be honest, a lot of students never read newspapers in English. They don't need the vocabulary or the style of writing that's written in newspapers. So finding texts that are appropriate to their job, to their company, or to the tasks that they're doing is really useful. For example, in company, most of the texts we present are emails because they're by far the most common thing that business learners read. So if you are doing reading with your students, I would encourage you to think about what your students read and presenting texts that are appropriate to the things they need to read.